It seems like America is pretty good at mass surveillance, or at least has been revealed through NSA and all this kind of reporting and leaks and whistleblowers. Can you comment to the degree to how much surveillance is done by the U.S. government, internally and externally?
If you'd asked me 5 years ago, I would have had a very different answer, right? Because, all right, first of all, they're looking for a needle in the haystack. They're looking for the bin Laden, and they can't find the needle in the haystack, but they continue to create the haystack and survey the haystack. So, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but the real problem, what has happened, and I write about this in my book, First Platoon, which is about a group of young soldiers who goes to Afghanistan and unwittingly becomes part of the Defense Department's efforts to capture biometrics on 85% of the population of Afghanistan. Okay. Which, by the way, China then emulated in their own biometric surveillance program, right? And I think this is a terrible idea. But what has happened, these biometric systems that have been created, and biometrics are, of course, fingerprints, facial images, DNA, and iris scans that allow you to tag, track, and locate people. Okay. And what has happened in the 5 years since this question was first, on everybody's minds about NSA surveillance is that the civilian sector companies have essentially done all the Defense Department's biometric surveillance job for them by all of us sharing our facially recognizable images on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else, X, by sharing information, by writing up narratives about ourselves. This information has become part of the database. 5 years ago, when I was reporting First Platoon, I was interviewing the police chief of El Segundo, which is kind of like on the outskirts of LA. It's right near the airport. And why it's important is because it's like defense contractor haven. Okay. So they have massive surveillance. And Chief Whalen, when I posed this question to him, he said to me, Annie, let me show you something. And he had Clearwater AI, the recognition software on his phone. And this was still when it was like quasi not supposed to have that for law enforcement. And he said, I want you to go down the block and I want you to just turn the corner and come back toward me, right? Which I did. And he just didn't even hold up his phone. He just it looked like his hand was, and his phone was on me. And he went back down. It was like the tiniest movement. And when I came back to him, he went like this and he showed me, there I was, everything about me, facts and figures and all images. And he knew who I was before I even got to him. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, we could have another 3-hour conversation about that alone.
So you're saying more and more, you don't need an NSA. We're giving over the data ourselves.
Yeah.
Publicly or semi-publicly.
Yeah. During the War on Terror, people were just like incensed to learn that there's a drone that's flying at something like 20,000 feet. It's called Argus Is, right? And it can capture it's not a license plate. It's like it can basically capture like what's written on a golf ball from 17,000 feet, 20,000 feet up, okay? And people went crazy over this. Like, oh my God, it's Big Brother. Well, one of the lead engineers on that, Pat Bilkin, is someone I talk to regularly because we talk about surveillance a lot because he thinks about it a lot because he has kids now. And he has given so much really thinks about this issue because he believes, just like you stated, that what we are turning over about ourselves actually exceeds anything that Argus could do from above because we're doing it willfully. And so what it's doing is it's creating an ability for, if someone wants to know about you, if someone, let's say in government, wants to know about Lex Fridman, they can find out everything about you. And then that gets used for tagging, tracking, and ultimately, in the war theater, it was called find, fix, finish. Well, what do you think the finish is in that statement?
It's not pleasant.
It's called a drone strike.
Yeah.
Find him with the biometric, fix him, meaning fix his position. We know he's moving in a car. That's him. Finish him. Call it in, drone strike, boom.